In today's session of Divorce Court, Ana DeSantis says Martin Castillo was lucky to get a woman like her.
As you can see, I'm not a bad-looking girl. It was obvious he wanted me.
Oh, now you're not all of that. You look good, but you're not all of that.
Well, compared to him.
So you thought that you had so much going for you, and you was such a hot item that you would just keep his coals on fire all day long?
Ana says she told Martin she didn't love him.
This man knew that I didn't love him. I told you I don't want to be with you. It was a big mistake.
You embarrass me as a woman.
That's because you don't know what I was going through, okay? You don't know what I was going through with him.
And today, Ana DeSantis tells the judge her secret as she squares off one final time with Martin Castillo in divorce court.
All rise. Court is now in session. Meblean Ephraim presiding. You may be seated.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is the matter of Martin Castillo versus Ana DeSantis. And I'm advised, Ms. DeSantis, that you and your husband separated after 6 months of marriage. That's awfully quick. What could have gone wrong in 6 months?
Correct. First of all, Your Honor, let me just tell you that this man knew that I didn't love him when I married him. Okay, he took advantage of me.
No, it sounds like you took advantage of him if you didn't love him when married him.
I was going through some hard times. Okay, I was having a lot of problems, and he married me. He took advantage of that to marry me. The reason why he married me was because he needed someone to take care of.
You don't take advantage of marrying somebody that's going through hard times and having a lot of problems, because you're just adding problems to yourself. Do you have that a little confused? You don't think you took advantage of him?
No, he
All
took
right.
advantage of me. Okay, and the reason why I say that is because he needed somebody to take care of his grandmother, someone to help him
Your Honor,
with the bills.
that's a lie.
All right, Mr.
with the
Castillo,
rent.
hold on.
Okay, and as you can see, I'm not a bad-looking girl. So he had it made. I mean, he had a nice-looking girl, someone to help him with his grandmother, to help him with bills. What else did he want?
So you were working and helped him pay bills?
Actually, no, Your Honor. I was getting...
So it sounds like you were making bills.
I was getting checks for my children. I have 2 children. I would help him with the rent. And like I said, I was taking care of his grandmother, and he didn't give me any money for that.
So what was the hard times that you were going through, and he knew you were going through hard times and needed him? What was that?
I had left my baby's dad, okay? He offered to help me.
Mr. Castillo, maybe you could help me out. She's saying that you married her just for money, but she was having a hard time, which is confusing to me. You were having a hard time too?
Your Honor, let me just go back a few years. She called me after 5 years because we had been together for about a month. When I met her...
You had been together for a month 5 years ago?
5 years ago, 92.
And she found someone else?
She moved for some reason she never explained to me. She went to San Jose. After 5 years, she called me, and she said that she wanted to come back with me.
So then why did you marry Mrs. DeSantis?
Well, I figured that if she looked for me after 5 years, maybe she really did feel something for me.
So it struck your ego that she was coming back?
Right. I was willing to give it another try because even the mother of my daughter knows that she was the love of my life. And I even asked the mother of my daughter what she thought about it, and she said, if that's what you feel, go for it.
So it was like manna from heaven being brought to you?
Yes. So I drove down there January 1st, 1998. I picked her up, her and her 2 kids, and all her things, moved into our apartment. I told her, I explained to her that I had my grandma living with me and that my daughter's mom was helping me take care of her. And she said, don't worry about it. We'll work it out. We'll do it together.
She didn't want that other woman around.
I'll pay you. You told me you were going to pay me.
So you wanted to be paid to take care of his grandmother?
Yes.
So here's a man offering you refuge from a bad relationship, and now you're angry because you knew what you were getting into.
No,
You
Your Honor.
had a condition, right?
No, I didn't know in the beginning what I was
He
getting
just
into.
said he told you he could come and take care of his grandmother.
That's what he told me, okay? But what he was thinking was...
How do you know what he was thinking? Now you're clairvoyant?
I mean, it was obvious he wanted me. I mean, he took advantage.
Oh, now you're not all of that. You look good, but you're not all of that.
Well, compared to him.
Then why did it have
Oh,
to
now you
be
got a
somebody
real
5 years
problem.
from the past?
There
Why
it
couldn't
is
you
right
go back
there.
2 years? Why
no,
couldn't you go 1
Mr.
year?
Castillo, let me camp out here. Compared to him, so you thought that you had so much going for you, and you was such a hot item that he was going to come and get you, and that you would just keep his coals on fire all day long, and you could do anything you wanted to do. Is that what you thought?
I didn't know. I didn't want him. I thought he was just going to help me as a friend.
No, no, no.
Okay.
You thought you were going to use him because you knew that he was in love with you because you was such a hot ticket.
Maybe
That's what
so.
you thought. But when he said that now you got to do something in return for this, you know, that your behind and your mess does think you got to do something. You don't like that part, huh?
He brainwashed me into marrying him.
Oh, Mr. Santos, spare me. Brainwash you into marrying him. No, you got tricked.
He tricked me
You
into
thought you were
marrying
the treat and you got tricked. Yeah, that's what happened.
She's leaving the best part out.
Well, give it to me. Tell me the best part.
Well, the main reason why we're looking for this divorce, well, I'm looking for this divorce, she explained her reasons, is I went on a trip after being married for 5 months, for 10 days. I came back, I called her, I left her a message, I'm coming home such date. I come home, nobody home. I called her friend, and she said she had her kids and that she had gone out somewhere, dancing. Next day, I asked my grandma what was going on. My grandma says, I saw her kissing her cousin in the kitchen.
Kissing cousins in the kitchen?
My dad also confirmed something like that. He said that at night he would hear noises or guys' voice in the bedroom.
They were just talking. They were just being friends, you know. Right, Mrs. DeSantos?
Before he left to Mexico, I told him I didn't want to be with him, okay? And he knows that. I told you I didn't want to be with you.
Talk to me.
I told him, okay? I told him that I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want anything to do with him, okay? He left to Mexico. I went on with my life. When he came back, he wanted to be with me. I told him, no, I told you I don't want to be with you. It was a big mistake, okay, when I married you. I don't know why I married you. I don't want to be with you. I don't know why he's coming in here acting as the victim. You're not the victim, and you know that.
Why did you move out?
Yeah, Mrs. DeSantos, you have this strange idea of relationships. It's like, when I want you, I want you. When I tell you I don't want you,
I never wanted him.
Yes, you did. You wanted what he had to offer you or something. What did the kissing cousin give you? Because I understand this was in his house. He didn't even have a house to take you to. So why'd you get so excited about him?
I moved out with him. I moved out of his house.
But you were having the affair in his house over his sick grandmother and his father.
No, he knew. We didn't have a relationship anymore. He knows that. I wasn't with him anymore.
You were still married to him.
Can you?
You're just now going through this divorce.
Paper. I wasn't.
Oh, it's just.
I wasn't with him.
There's the answer right there.
We weren't sleeping together. We weren't having a relationship.
The answer is just what you said, Mrs. DeSantos. For you, marriage was just a piece of paper. It didn't mean anything to you. When you stood up there and said, I promise to love, honor, and cherish, and in sickness and in health, it was just a piece of paper. For you, it was just a meal ticket.
When divorce court returns, the judge gets tough with Anna.
You embarrass me as a woman.
That's because you don't know what I was going through, okay? You don't know what I was going through with him.
And Anna tells the judge a secret she's kept from Martin.
Oh, understand.
If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or email us at www.divorcecourttv.com. Divorce court is back in the case of Ana DeSantos, who says she never loved her husband Martin and only married him out of convenience.
Why didn't you just leave, Mrs. DeSantos? Who stopped you from walking out the door? Your legs move, don't they? They were moving in that bedroom with the cousin. What stopped you from walking out? You should have enough pride and respect for yourself. You are a beautiful person outside, but now you need to work on that inside, because it's messed up. And I may sound harsh, and I've been accused sometimes of being harsh on women. You know what? But you know what? You embarrass me as a woman.
That's because you don't know what I was going through, okay? You don't know what I was going through with him. You don't know the problems I had. The reason why I couldn't leave, my baby's dad, why? Because of my condition. No, because of my condition.
You left and went to Mr. Castillo. You left. So I don't know the reason why you couldn't leave. You're right. But I know that you left. You called him on the phone and left. Why you couldn't go somewhere on your own? When Mr. Castillo, 2 weeks after you didn't like what was going on there, why couldn't you leave?
Because
why?
of my
Who
disability.
had you tied down?
My disability, that's why.
Your disability kept you from leaving?
Yes.
Your disability don't keep you from having sex? What disability is this? You want to tell me in private so I can have a better understanding? Come over here. Your disability kept you from leaving. Hurry up and explain this to me.
Because I was having panic attacks and
All right, I understand. I'm not going to repeat what you said to me, but what you said to me tells me this, that yeah, you have a disability, that it would have caused some other problems for you, but because of that, you used other people. That's what it amounts to. Instead of using people, you should get some help for yourself, for the condition. Instead of running from man to man. That's not good for the children. And it may be better for the children to be in another situation if that's what you're going to keep doing. And thinking that you look so good that every man, you know, that when men like you, they want you so bad I can just, you know, use them like this. That's not the solution. Now, you want the money back for taking care of his grandmother.
yes, I do.
And what do you want?
Just want to get the paper signed for a divorce. I'm not asking anything from her.
You just want to be divorced?
I try to make this relationship work. I'm not asking for the $1,152 of phone bill that she ran up. You know, that's a big load was taken off my back the day after she left. And I thank God for it. I thank God that it was only 5 months and not 5 years. I thank God I did not have any kids with you. And I'm sorry for the guy that took you. I gave him my salute. And
Yeah, right.
If I were to see him right now, I'd say, thank you.
Your Honor, he calls me constantly, and he tells me he wants me back. Okay, he harasses me.
Mr. Castillo,
he
it's
was
not funny.
blackmailing me, and you know that. You would call me and tell me that if I wouldn't go back with you, you would call the guy that I'm with right now and tell him that I was having sex with you.
Mr. Castillo, you don't engage in that either. Now, if either you want her or you don't,
Your
and
Honor,
if you don't,
that's not
let
true.
go.
That's a total lie.
Mr. Castillo, what happened to you was you got played on.
Yeah.
All right? But you
Played
had
on.
some control over that as well. You're an adult. You're a grown man. A woman been away from you 5 years, dumped you after 2 months or whatever, left you heartbroken. All of a sudden, she calls you and says, I want you back. And you're in a relationship with someone else where it's a good, safe relationship, and you say yes, you had control. You could have done some investigation. You could have asked a few more questions, but you were excited about it too.
Very
You know, and you
excited.
got really excited, and probably, you know, your little hormones got you kicking overtime, like she said, and you dumped the other lady and said, I don't need you anymore. You need to think about that. So she's not all to blame. We each bear responsibility for our conduct when we're in relationships. You can't shift it all to the other side.
When divorce court returns, the judge renders her verdict.
I told you to be quiet. I don't need any more discussion from you. Keep your mouth closed and your hands down.
And an update on the case of Barbara Goldfarb versus Brian Goldfarb.
She was doing adult phone conversation.
You mean a phone sex operator?
Yes.
Divorce court is back and the verdict is in the case of Ana DeSantis, who admits she never loved her husband Martin and now wants to be paid back for taking care of his grandmother.
Thank God it was only 4 months. That's it.
Thank
Well,
God.
thank
And
God.
you still want me?
You're fortunate that it ended
thank
early.
you.
Oh, Mrs. DeSantos, come off of it.
If he didn't want me, he wouldn't be calling me.
Get
Okay,
off your
even if he
cloud.
wants you, love yourself enough to say forget it, okay?
I told him I don't want him.
My daughter's mom is 10 times better than you.
Oh,
She's not
please.
that crazy.
Okay, you two, please stop it. You sound like two little children playing back and forth on who looks the best. The looks is what got you in trouble already. You need to go beyond that. That's what's getting both of you in trouble. Looks. You're too hung up on your physical attraction, and it all wears out. It fades away. All you got to do is keep living. It changes. I'm ready to rule. In terms of the money, the reimbursement for his grandmother, this is difficult. But the county gave you 4 hours, or the social services department, for in-home supportive services. Right, that means the person that's caring for the elderly or the sickly person is entitled to be benefited by the money that the county gives. And you didn't give it to her. What did they allow you?
4 hours a day.
That's usually it. For 3 months, 7 days a week. You need to reimburse her that number.
I wasn't only taking care of her for
that's
3 hours a day or 4 hours a day.
Mrs. DeSantos.
It was 24 hours a day.
I'm finished with that. No more discussion from you nor Mr. Castillo. And I'm not about to reimburse you for 24 hours a day taking care of his grandmother, because you married into the situation knowing that that was part of the responsibility. And as far as I'm concerned, if his grandmother was living with him, you were his wife, you were at home every day, he told you that before you got into it, you knew that was part of the bargain. And that's what wives and husbands do for each other. And you don't have to be paid for it in dollars. You were paid by the care for your children, a roof over your head, food in the house, utility bills paid. You were compensated. I'm not about to ask him to pay you any more money for that. I don't care.
Your Honor,
I told you to be quiet. I don't need any more discussion from you. Keep your mouth closed and your hands down. I've heard enough from you.
I just want to say one thing.
Joe?
She's not asking you your opinion. She's telling you her ruling. You have to be quiet, otherwise I'm going to have to take you out of here. Okay, so just stand here and be quiet.
That's the order of the court. Whatever those, you give those figures to my staff so that we can calculate the actual dollar amount, and that's what you're ordered to reimburse her, and that's from your money, from your paycheck.
Any price is good to get rid of her.
Thank you.
Thank God.
Glad you feel that way.
Yeah.
Court's adjourned.
When Divorce Court returns, an update on the case of Barbara Goldfarb versus Brian Goldfarb.
Shortly before we would have sex or shortly after, he'd tell me I was useless, I was worthless, I was no good. I was definitely good then, but not before or after.
If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or email us at www.divorcecourttv.com. And now for an update on a previous case in divorce court. Brian Goldfarb said he wanted to divorce his wife Barbara because of her job as a phone sex operator.
She was doing adult phone conversation.
You mean a phone sex operator?
Yes. Then she started bringing her work home with her.
What do you mean by that?
Well, she called the chat line. She had guys' phone numbers that she...
Was it the chat line on the computer or on the telephone?
It started off on the phone. I told my wife, if she's not going to sexually satisfy me, I'm going to find somebody that will.
Mrs. Goldfarb, any reason why you're enjoying sex more on the computer than with your husband?
Shortly before we would have sex or shortly after, he'd tell me I was useless, I was worthless, I was no good. I was definitely good then, but not before or after.
The woman is psycho.
They came to court because Brian said they had borrowed more than $10,000 from his family. The judge decided that they should each pay back half the money. Brian says he now has a new girlfriend, and Barbara has put her phone skills to work in a new job as a psychic operator.
I think she was very unfair with me. She just didn't listen to what I had to say.
There was a lot of things that she wasn't saying, being truthful about. A lot of things she was exaggerating.
I was his slave.
I don't have any feelings for Anna at all.
I hope he's happy. He got away with it.
If she has my number, just flush it down the toilet.